to enjoy. At least I hope so. I honestly have absolutely no idea what is going to happen tonight. This is the night that I'm going to bring my daughter in on purpose for the first time ever into our live stream. So you'll remember she did crash the party once, brought a bunch of dogs in when my wife and I were doing it together, and she was sick of doing everything herself. But but tonight we're actually gonna bring her in. Last night, of course, she was watching the shift and completely messed up our stream. I was talking to Orlando over Zoom and running all of the software to connect with you, and that ended up being a very, very bad idea. And everything got hitched up and frozen. And most of you stuck with us. Some of you were out at that point, which is fair. But she has since resumed her watching of the shift. She's watched the whole thing. She says that she watched it years ago, but she's only 9. So I doubt she could really remember it very well. But now she has watched it again this afternoon, and she's ready to share her thoughts with us on what the film is to her as a 9-year-old and as my daughter. And just so you know, this is only by popular demand. After she crashed our party the one time, we had numerous requests for Violet to come back, and so we're gonna do that. And I'm sure it'll be very interesting. And honestly, I'm interested. What does a kid think about the shift? It's certainly not made for kids, although I have heard of people watching it with their families, which is pretty incredible to me and pretty cool. But I don't know what my daughter thinks. I told her what some of the questions I'm going to ask her are, but she hasn't really told me what her responses will be. So we will find out together, and I'm sure that will be a very interesting experience. Also on deck tonight, we're going to be doing a director's commentary of the back half of the diner scene. I've done 2 director's commentaries so far, one with the outdoor scene and then also with the first half of the diner scene. And so tonight we're going to talk about the back half of the diner scene, which of course I believe is the part of the shift that is the most memorable. It's the part with the prayer. It's everything after Tina disappears. Spoiler if you haven't seen it yet. If you have not seen it yet, then I recommend watching it and then coming back maybe to watch the commentary later. Hello to everyone who's joining us. Just want to do some quick shout outs to Suzanne. Hello. Andrea. Hello. Jane, hello. Kara, hello. Very nice to see you all. Noah just joined us. Hello, Noah. And Donna as well. Very, very good to see you all. Always a good time together. And hopefully we can bring even more people in here tonight. Please take the time to share this on your feeds. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and practice what I preach and share it on mine right now. So if everybody just takes a second and share this on their feed, share this in groups that you belong to, and we're gonna spread the word and let people know what's going on tonight. I'm very excited to review tonight also recent investments. We've had some come in since our last stream, and we are getting very, very close to achieving our minimum goal. Come join us, I'm telling all my friends who are sick of me and sick of the shift, but I want them to come anyway, and maybe some of them will. If you do know me in real life, please shout it out and refrain from telling anything too embarrassing. Okay, here we go. Posting. Done. It is now shared. Okay, great. So that's what's going on tonight. Please share in if you belong to any faith groups, if you belong to any movie groups, onto your own page, wherever you are, whatever your reach is, please share it with your friends. Please do not, however, share this stream in the Chosen fan club. We want to be respectful of that club and not infiltrate too much in there. Other posts are great to share. Live streams, let's keep the live streams out of there. All right. So yeah, just to kind of review this week, this is our 4th live stream of the week, which is a lot. Believe it or not, I still have energy for it. And what some of you may not know is that actually last night, and I'm talking 10 minutes after the live stream concluded last night, I went over to the Christian casting community and did an hour and a half live stream with them. Sorry, my mouth is dry, my words are slurring. And that was a great time. That was really fun to talk with them. Laura May was the one who invited me. She's one of our fans, and I'm sure she's probably attending the stream tonight. She was a great interviewer. It was a great way to do the stream. I love having somebody to play off of. I think it makes it for a much richer experience. And I'm looking forward to doing more things like that. And in fact, at the end of tonight's broadcast like I'm on TV, I'm going to be announcing our next live stream all the way into Tuesday of next week. That's going to be at 1 p.m. Mark your calendars. We're going to have some very special guests in a very different format from what we've been doing so far. It is not just going to be me talking. There's going to be a lot of other people. And I'm very excited to tell you about that. So I'll announce that at the end of this broadcast. We want to focus on tonight for right now. I need this drink. Okay, sorry about that. We are live. So this week we've met Orlando J. Gomez. I introduced you to the producer of The Shift, and you got to hear from him. And particularly, I'm always fascinated by Orlando's thoughts on faith-based entertainment and where maybe it could be better. Orlando has some very strong thoughts on that, and he shared that with us. And he also shared with us his perspective on why he is a part of The Shift, why he believes in it, and his perspective on the story, given the fact that he has read the entire script. And so he drops some nuggets here and there of just about the themes, and nothing too spoilery. But if you're interested in that, go back and check out the archived video for The Shift live stream 7. And that was with Orlando, and I think we had a pretty good talk. That was a good time. He's a friend, but I think Orlando is also very interesting, and so to hear his perspective is always worthwhile. And I'm sure he will be back again. Let's see, what else am I? Who else is in here with us? Greg Wyke, who played Tina's father in The Shift, he's joining us. Hey, Greg. Rebecca, Nicolette is with us. Raina. Jeanette, awesome. We've got some new folks in here tonight. Love seeing new people. If you've just seen The Shift this week, raise your hand. Let us know that you're here, and let us know what you think. And this, by the way, this is a free for all. These live streams. If you've got a question for me, anything you want to ask, whether it's about the film, even the feature film, or about the investment and how that works, I'm ready to field those questions. You may have noticed that Violet is not actually sitting next to me right now. And that is because I know better than to bring a 9-year-old and sit her in one spot and make her not talk for an entire hour. That's not going to happen. So she's going to come in at the time that she is needed. Violet, my 9-year-old daughter, is coming to tell us her thoughts on The Shift. So that is happening, and it's happening, and we're going to do that before anything else once we get through all this beginning stuff. And we're letting people come in. You know, we've got 40 people in right now, and I'm assuming that will go up. So we want to make sure everybody's here before we start on the main event, as scary as it is. I'm also kind of putting it off a little bit, and I think that's fair. Also, this week, I revealed a never-before-revealed secret, which I'm sure we'll be revisiting during the director's commentary tonight, which is, of course, Kevin's prayer. When you watch The Shift and you're listening to Kevin praying, most people think, I know that prayer, I know what he's saying, but the fact of the matter is that you can't actually hear it. It's mostly obscured by Satan yelling and the sound design and the music. And so, for the first time this week, during our watch parties on Tuesday, I revealed the actual text of Kevin's prayer and read it out loud for you. And I believe I will be doing that again tonight. And we've had multiple requests for that prayer to be put into some type of a social media post that could be shared or something like that. And I think you could probably expect something like that tomorrow. So look forward to that. And we encourage you, if you feel like the prayer is significant and is helpful, and it could be helpful to others, we encourage you, of course, to share it. It's a simple prayer, as you will see. In other news, also, we've hit 4,800 likes on Facebook, which means we are that close to getting to 5,000 likes. Remember, just a few weeks and some change, we were at under 500. So The Shift is growing by leaps and bounds. People are discovering it. More and more people are discovering it every day. Of course, that is only limited by how much money we can spend on ads. Advertisements, mostly on Facebook, is how we are getting the word out. Advertisements is most likely how you found out about The Shift and why you're here with us tonight. And we're going to talk more about that in a second. We also announced the formation of the Shift Fan Club. That is a fan-created and fan-driven club. I have nothing to do with it other than I'm an enthusiastic member, and I am happy to communicate with you on there. It's fans of The Shift talking about their experiences sharing The Shift, there's some memes in there, and it's also a place where I can kind of go to what is called our Shifty Soldiers. I'm finally learning how to say that correctly, and I can talk to you guys directly and talk about different things that we can do to try to bring more people in and hopefully get that investment up where it needs to go. As of right now, we have 3 weeks to get to our investment, our $1 million. We obviously have a lot of ground to cover. The most important thing to get to that point, of course, and something I talked about a lot last night. Last night we had the goal of reaching $93,000 in investment. We didn't quite get there, but that doesn't mean that we're out for the count. We are so close right now to $93,000. And why do I say that? Why is $93,000 important? And don't worry, for those of you that are like, oh my gosh, is he talking about the 93 again? I am only going to talk about it for a minute here, and then we're going to move on to the fun stuff. But the $93,000, that is the minimum that we need to get to so that we can start using the money that has been invested so far in order to further our ad campaign to get all the way to $1 million. So that's why that minimum is so important. We're about to run out of money in order to get the shift out to people, and having the 93 is going to help us a lot. So that's what's going on with that. We are now about $10,000 away from that 93. And in fact, let's check in right now real quick. Let's see where we're at. We're going to do a check-in, refresh. That's where it was when we started. Perhaps we're still there. We are still there. $83,646 with 231 investors, 20 days until closing. That's where we're sitting right now. We are $10,000 away from hitting our $93,000 minimum, in which we unlock the potential and we get to blow this thing up and bring it to so many more people. We have 3 weeks. September 30th is our last day. Can we get there? I absolutely believe that we can. And I believe that your faith and your prayers are making a huge difference. Today was a good day. And in fact, let's review some recent investments here. I got them on my phone. Let's see. I got friends talking to me about games tonight. That's not what we're doing right now. Over Zoom, of course. Recent investments. Marcia in Louisiana has partnered with us for $100. Thank you so much, Marcia. I'm going to try to pronounce this name right. I think it's Denny or Deanie from Mississippi, partnered with us for $100. Thank you, Deanie or Denny. I'm so sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Margaret in Texas partnered with us for $1,000. Margaret, you're awesome. Thank you. Jeff from Idaho partnered with us for $3,000. Jeff, you're a rock star. Thank you. And Paul in Texas partnered with us for $100, and Phil from Texas partnered with us for $1,000. Those were all investments that came in today. We are so honored by your support. I am personally touched by the amount of support and just that people are willing to make that investment into this film, have the confidence in this film. I have a lot of confidence in this film, but that other people do too. Is never stops being a little bit of a miracle for me. And of course, one of the biggest miracles that we've seen in the last couple of weeks is that we have added people to our team, significant people who are going to help us maximize its potential. And those people are, of course, Dallas Jenkins, the creator, and Dan Hasseltine and Matt Nelson as our composers, who are also the composers for The Chosen. So we're very, very lucky to have them, very grateful to have them. And I hope that they inspire confidence in you of the type and quality of production that the Shift feature film is going to be. We made the short film for $500. We're going to make the feature film for a lot more than that, and it'll be, I believe, just that much better. So if you are interested in partnering with us, if you think that that's something that you're up for, that you believe is important, we want to shout you out. And that will happen unless you tell us not to. You can always message us privately and tell us not to do that. Other ways to support, if you cannot invest, of course, is liking on Facebook, subscribing on YouTube, watching on VidAngel to help it rise in the popularity ranks, and sharing this live stream right now. Okay. I think it might be time to bring out Violet. What do you think? I need to text my wife. You're going to have to bear with me here while I live text my wife to please bring Violet. I think it is time for us to hear what she has to say. All right. She has been requested. Hopefully she will trot along quickly and shimmy herself up here, and you all can meet her, and we'll see what in the world she has to say about the shift. Once again, we are looking for a minimum of $93,000 for our investment to so that we can blow the campaign wide open. Our goal for tonight, however, is $85,000. That is our goal. Here is Violet. Violet, why don't you crawl under the table here and join me?
She's going to be in the vote.
She's going to... Oh my goodness. Okay, so some really cool news. We just had a little bit of a miracle happen in our house. Violet. Hello, say hi, Violet.
Hello.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's see if we can see you. Okay, let's make sure. Oh gosh, you're short. Do we have a book or something that she can sit on, Aaron?
Did you just call our daughter short?
Well, she is short. She's shorter than me. If she were taller than me, it'd be very disturbing. She's only 9. Maybe in our room there's a big book or something she can sit on? Pillow. Here. Okay, Violet, sit on this pillow so people can see you. Okay, there you go. So Violet is running for book ambassador at her school, and she, her mom and I messed up, and we thought the deadline to turn in the video, because everything's pandemic these days. So we had to make a video to submit it and get her, get her speech out there so that everybody could vote on it tomorrow. And unfortunately, we missed the deadline by an entire week. We read the date wrong. But we made the video anyway. We sent it to the school, and we just begged them to just accept her anyway. And after telling us no several times, they finally came back just now and said yes, her video is going to be there, her speech, and she's in the vote. So that's a really cool thing. I know you were pretty disappointed earlier, huh? Yeah. So very good thing. Very nice little tiny miracle for our family today, which is great. Okay, Violet. I also need to tell your mom to stop using the internet. Stop using streaming, because I think we're having some hitches. Okay, there we go. All right. So, Violet, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us who you are. And by the way, if you have any questions for Violet, anybody wants to, feel free, ask her. I'll screen them, but you can give it a shot, and we'll see. Cool. Okay. So, Violet, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? How old are you? What's your deal? Oh, hold on. Let's have you hold the microphone. Your voice is a little bit quieter than mine. There you
Okay.
go. I'll hold it for you. You go ahead and talk.
Okay. My name is Violet. I am 9 years old. I love doggies, and my favorite color is purple.
Favorite color is purple. Okay, great. Awesome. All right. And we have a question already for you, which is, does Violet still hate Mexican food?
Yes.
Who knows that you hate Mexican food? I'm not sure what that... I feel like I know that reference, but I don't actually know what that reference is. So somebody's going to have to remind me of that. I'm feeling a little thick tonight. From the commercial. Oh, that's right. Violet did a local commercial recently, and she said that she hates Mexican food. So somebody's seen that commercial, recognizes her from that. Violet, Andrea says that she likes your glasses.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got cool glasses. All right. Okay, so let's talk about the shift, Violet. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? Okay, I want you to be honest, all right?
Okay.
No, you tell us exactly what you think. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about my feelings. You just uncensored, okay? Whatever you want to say, okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's start off with an easy one. It's not easy. You just watched the shift this afternoon. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good would you say the shift is? Scale of 1 to 10. Dead air. This is bad. You have to actually speak.
I'm thinking.
You're thinking. Well, there's no time to think.
Let me think.
Okay. Speak nice and loud and clearly for us. Scale of 1 to 10. Gut instinct.
Probably a 10.
A 10. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. You really had me worried there. You were taking so long that you had me worried there. I thought that was going to go south. So, thank you for saying a 10. But you didn't have to say 10. That would have been okay. All right. Let's see. We got a question here. Will I be getting Violet a makeup kit for her birthday? I don't know. You already have a makeup kit, don't you?
I have 2.
You have 2 makeup kits, so I don't know if you need another one. We got a good question here from Rebecca. Rebecca wants to know. We have one before that, though, so we'll get to We'll get to Rebecca's in a second. Kamalani, and I do hope I'm pronouncing that right. And if I'm not, Kamalani, please feel free to correct me with the proper pronunciation. She wants to know, what did you think? Oh, it just jumped. What did you think about the film? Just in general, what did you think about the film?
I thought about the film. To really think on this one.
It's kind of a general question, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we already know you thought it was good.
Mhm.
So you liked watching it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you want to see it longer?
Definitely.
Yeah. Do you want to see?
Yeah.
Did it make you curious at the end, or are you just kind of like,
Yeah,
no, that's
like-
the whole story?
Yeah, like what happens when he walks out the door? Like what happened to his wife? Like.
Right. These are the questions. All right. We got another question here. Are you going to be an actress?
I'm probably thinking about it. I might.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a possibility.
I think you'd be pretty good at it. I think you would. Okay. Oh, here's a good one from Rebecca. Did you think that Satan was scary?
No.
No. Uh-oh. Why didn't you think he was scary?
I don't know. Probably because I've heard a lot about him and like the part that he like tries to make you so scared that you will like obey. Like
Mm-hmm.
I try to tempt you, you obey me because I'm so scary. But like I'm not really scared since I've heard a lot of things about him.
Yeah. What have you heard about him?
Mostly that like he's a bad guy. He wanted to take God's power to use it down onto the earth to make people perfect
Mm-hmm.
and obey God.
Yeah. So you're just not afraid of the guy. You know what to do, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know what to do. That's good. Okay. Let's see what other questions we got here. Our moderators are helping me out, so I'm going to just pay attention to theirs. I'm trying to keep up with the Facebook questions, and that's much, much harder than just paying attention to the moderator and what they send me. Okay. What was your favorite moment in the film?
Probably the part where Kevin was praying right in front of Satan.
Mm-hmm. And why was that your favorite?
Because he was standing up to Satan and almost everybody was scared of him in the cafe.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And that, do you think that was a brave thing that he did?
Yes.
Do you think that you could do that if you were in that situation?
Probably not. I'd be just a teensy bit scared.
Yeah, yeah. That's honest. That's a very honest answer. That's a very intimidating situation. You ever prayed in front of a bunch of people like that?
Only my family.
Only your family. So if you were in a restaurant full of people, you think it would be difficult to pray in front of all of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be pretty rough.
Especially in a school's cafeteria, because like that's when there's a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. I see that. So, Kevin and Molly are based a little bit on your mom and dad. Can you tell that when you're watching the film?
No.
No?
My mom and dad are nothing like them.
Yeah? Well, what are your mom and dad like then?
They don't really yell that much.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad that's your perspective.
And they don't ignore each other a lot.
Yeah, that's true. We don't. I think our marriage is probably a little bit healthier than their marriage, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There a lot of what Kevin and Molly are going through is based on kind of what your mom and I are like in our worst moments, but neither one of us has done things as bad to each other as Kevin and Molly have done to each other. So that's at least a good thing. Our marriage is pretty healthy. I don't want you to worry about us, but they're definitely going through some things. Did you know that when writers write and tell stories, they draw a lot from their own life and put it into their stories? It's true. That's one of the tricks to writing is that you try to write things that you're familiar with and that you know. So even though we're talking about this crazy, science fiction thing, it's still, I try to make it as real as I can by taking things that I know from my own life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes it more real. All right. Somebody wants to know what your doggies' names are. Can you tell us your dogs' names?
Batman is a boy. Well, all of our dogs are boys.
All of our dogs
all
are
of our
boys.
pets.
Mm-hmm.
So, one dog has ears that are like this, and he is black, and his name is Batman.
Mhm.
And this other dog is named Ozzy, and he has flappy ears. And he's gray, but my mom and dad say he's black. He looks gray to me.
He's probably mostly gray.
Yeah. His name is Ozzy. I call him Ozzy, but his real name is Oz. And then we have Baxter. We don't own him, but he's technically our dog.
Yeah.
And he has flappy ears. He's yellow. And he's really feisty.
Yes, he is. He's kind of a puppy at this point.
Yeah.
So here's a really good question, and you can answer this or not. This depends. All these questions, none of them you have to answer. Okay, you only answer them if you want to. Okay. So I'm going to ask you the question, and you can tell me the answer if you want. Okay. So the question is this: when you think about the way that Kevin prayed for help, have you ever prayed for help like that?
Mostly on school tests.
Mm-hmm.
Because one time I was really scared because there was this math stuff I had no idea to do. But when I prayed, everything went well, really good.
Yeah, that's good. So you think that God answers prayers?
Yes.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad that is your experience and that is your faith. And I know that about you. You're always quick to pray when you know that things are, when there's things that are in trouble or you're in trouble, and you have a lot of faith in that way. It's one of the things I admire about you. Okay. Will you be putting more makeup on your dad? Me? Lipstick? Anything like that? Are we going to go beyond the nails that you painted the other day and start doing other things?
My mom said that I did my hope, but I'm hoping I can do that.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping you can't. Lots of questions. I'm genuinely surprised how many questions are offered. Violet. We keep trying to talk about the shift, but everybody just wants to know a lot about you. How about that? Somebody wants to know, do you notice your parents tearing each other sometimes? I think the question maybe is teasing. I think that's what that is. Do you ever see your parents teasing each other?
No.
No? Then you're not paying attention very closely, because your mom and I, our foundation of our relationship pretty much is teasing each other, to be honest with you. No, you don't see it?
I see it as fun teasing, but not as in mean teasing.
Well, no, I think there's two different kinds of teasing, right? There's fun teasing and there's mean teasing.
I don't see it as mean teasing, but I do see fun teasing.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good.
A lot of that is in our house.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, somebody wants to know. Okay, so we already asked you if you are going to be an actress, or maybe you want to do that. Now somebody else wants to know, are you going to be a director?
I don't really think so.
You don't think so? Why not?
That's just a lot of work, because that's you have to choose the props, you have to get ready on everything.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, isn't it? You've seen me do that. A lot of pressure. Yep. That's right. You tell them, Violet. You tell them all. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have 2 sisters, no brothers.
No brothers. Not any boys in this house, which is only fair because I grew up with 3 brothers and no sisters. So it all got flipped on me.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have the dogs though, and the cats.
Yeah, that's right. All of our dogs and our one cat are all male. So that's my only companions. Mm-hmm. All right.
Which he doesn't see it as a count, which really is a count. They literally. Baxter tries to eat our food. He will jump on the table, so. Yeah. He technically acts like a human.
Just as a reminder, if you do make any kind of investment tonight, we are excited to shout you out. We hope to see some come in. Our goal tonight is $85,000. We are pretty close to that. We're about $1,500 away from that, I believe, currently. I haven't seen any investments come in. But that is our goal for tonight. We'd love to shout you out. If not, let us know, and we won't do that. Okay. Let's get back to the shift. Got another question about the shift for you. You ready? Okay. So, was there a part... We already talked about whether or not Satan was scary, but did you think that the film was scary at all? Was that scary?
No.
Nothing. No, the film was not scary at all to you.
No, not really.
Because I could have sworn that there was a part that made you jump.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Yeah, well, there was, but like that doesn't mean I'm scared of it.
Okay, so what made you jump?
When the car crashed, like it just makes me go, just like that.
But you knew it was coming, didn't you?
Yeah, every single time though, like I know it's coming, but it just gets me every time.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I hear that from a few people. There's several people I know who have watched it many times, and they all kind of say they jump at the same time.
Except that's really the fun part.
Yeah, you like jumping like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what makes it fun. I agree. We got a question here for me. I'll just take it and give Violet a break. Will the feature film have more scenarios with Satan and other people, or is it all Kevin all the time? The film is very much focused on Kevin. The feature film, I can't really think of a whole lot of scenes that don't have Kevin in it. So that actor, whoever he ends up being, is going to get a workout because we are going to be focusing almost entirely on Kevin. The world, obviously, that Kevin is inhabiting. When I say the world, I mean all the worlds that we're talking about. Just the big universe and the world of the film that we're creating is much bigger than Kevin, and there are many, many more stories to tell. And I could even see myself telling some of those stories someday. I definitely have some ideas. But for the feature film, it is about Kevin, start to finish, all his story. Or actually, no, it is a question for you. I'll ask you, and then you can tell me. And if you don't know the answer, then I'll answer it. The question is, has your dad directed anything before the shift?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, and that is a true answer. I did not direct anything before the shift, save some education videos. But the shift was my first attempt at making a narrative film, telling a fictional story and actors and all of that. That was my first time doing it. And thankfully I had a great team behind me because I think it turned out pretty well. Okay. So Violet, if you were writing an ending to the film, okay, thinking about when Kevin walks out the door and whatever else he goes through, and now there's gonna be, we're making a whole feature film, 2 hours long. How do you think that movie ends? What do you want to see happen?
Probably like everything back to normal, but he's like at church and people are singing church songs.
At church and people are singing church songs. So kind of a happy ending. That's what you imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I won't tell you that is how it's gonna go. But I like where your heart is. Will you be on more live streams with your dad? Do you think you'll make a return visit someday?
I don't know. That's really up to him.
Yeah, that is up to me. We'll see how this goes. I'm having a good time. We'll see how it goes. Okay, another question about the shift. Do you have a favorite character? Or is there a character that you love the most?
Probably Tina.
Tina. Why Tina?
I don't really know. I guess I just really like her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you think that Tina, the actress, do you think she did a good job?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You were talking to me earlier about crying on camera. What did you say?
How do people do it? Like, I've tried. My friends have tried. None of us can do it.
Can't cry on command?
Nope.
No. Yeah, it looks pretty tough, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's amazing how some people can actually do that.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that Tina, the actress, Tina the character, they have, the actress is the same first name. Did you know that she had never cried on camera before she did the shift?
No.
She'd never done it. She taught herself how to do it that week just for the movie.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
It's a good thing she learned how, because we would have been sunk without it. Those tears are pretty important. Violet, what does your dad sing when he's cleaning the house?
He doesn't really sing. He mostly just listens to his music.
Yeah.
Or he will put it on the TV so that all of us can hear.
Yes. I inflict you all with my music. But sometimes I put on your music, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you think that the way Satan eats his steak is yucky? I do not get these questions. These are not the questions you guys ask me. These are the questions. You're getting some very unusual questions tonight. So when you're watching Satan eat a steak, is it you're like, oh, that's a cool way to eat snake, or are you like, dude, you're kind of gross?
I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't really pay attention to that. Like, I pay attention to what's happening, not like how people eat.
Yeah, I see that. Question for me about Tina: do we get to know more about her other sisters? I would say that's probably not a path that we're going to go down. The feature film is much more concerned about what happens after Kevin walks out the door, not so much about what happened before that. So
That's a good idea.
you like that idea?
That's a good
huh?
idea
Oh, okay.
to tell about the other sisters.
What do you think we should talk about with them?
Probably like what they looked like, their past, and then like you can show them in some parts.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to make some notes for me later? Give me some script notes.
No,
All right. Have you watched any other faith-based films? Have you watched any other films with faith in it? I'm trying to think if you have.
mostly just The Chosen and Shift.
Yeah, The Chosen and The Shift. You've watched, how many episodes of The Chosen have you watched? You've watched all of them, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of The Chosen?
I think it's actually a good thing to watch on Sundays instead of just like going straight to your computer starting to play video games.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing to like right after church
Mm-hmm.
just to start doing.
Yeah, definitely. Did you have a favorite episode or moment in The Chosen?
Probably the wedding one.
The wedding one. Oh yeah, that is a good one. You like big parties, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Parties.
Big parties. Cool.
The
Very cool.
best.
Okay, if you had been at the diner with all those people, with Satan doing that, and by the way, people might not know this. Maybe we'll talk about this in a minute when we do the director's commentary. Your sister is in the diner, isn't she?
Yes.
Yes, her Violet's sister, her older sister Alora, is in the diner, and she's sitting. You actually can see her in the first half of the diner scene. Anytime you see the wide shot with two of them sitting, the girl that's right between them, you got Kevin on one side of the screen and Satan on the other side of the screen, the girl in between them in the booth behind them, that is your older sister. So your older sister was in the diner, but if you had been in the diner, what would you have eaten?
What, you mean like replacing her?
No. I mean, like, if maybe you were there too.
Like right next to her sitting?
Sure, right next to her. What would you have had to eat?
To eat?
Yeah.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese, of course, mac and cheese. Why did I even ask the
That's
question? I already knew the answer.
That's what I only get at.
Yeah.
See if their mac and cheese is good enough. Because there was just this one time, it wasn't even mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It was very sad. None of you believed me, but then Mommy tried and she said, that I was correct.
Yeah, well, there you go. Let's see. Question for me: will we find out how the other Tinas shifted, the other waitresses? I think you can kind of figure it out just from the context of the short itself. What Satan does with Kevin in that diner is something he's done with a lot of different Kevins, and so what happened with her sisters. Pretty much the same thing, except those. But the whole idea of the waitresses shifting away, that's kind of how the conversation always goes. And so at least that part of it is the same for all the... Refresh my screen here. All right. So, shout out to Britt in Utah who just partnered with us for $100. Thank you so much, Britt, helping us get to our goal of $85,000 tonight. $85,000 is our goal on the road to $93,000. We are only $10,000 shy of that, and now we're a little bit better than that because of Britt. Thank you, Britt. Appreciate that. Let's see. Other question for you, Violet. I'm just going to get harder now. You ready for some hard questions?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll see. What do you think? Why do you think that the people in the diner didn't help Kevin or Tina? Why did they just sit there?
I probably tried to get them to go his way, and they saw him shift, and they got way too scared, and they didn't even want to think of helping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were scared what might happen to them.
Mm-hmm. Like they might have got shifted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a fair assessment. That is a fair assessment. Well done. If you're interested, by the way, in partnering with us, of course, the link to do so is in the chat. Our moderators, our awesome moderators, have pinned that. All right. So another hard one for you. What do you think we can learn from the shift? What do you think it teaches us?
Always to pray and never
Not to fall for his temptations. Yep. No, that's Violet got it. There are some people who watch the shift and don't quite get that, but you got it. And how did the shift make you feel?
Probably happy to know that Kevin knew right what to do. He had to pray instead of going his ways.
Yeah, that's good. Was there ever a point in which you kind of felt like it was kind of dark, like it was too dark or anything like that? Some people have had that problem with the film. Was that a problem for you at all?
Let me think about that. I don't.
Okay. So it didn't bother you?
No.
No, you kind of got what was going on. Cool. That's good. What's your opinion on the actors? I know you're a great admirer of actors. So was there an actor that maybe impressed you a lot?
I don't really know.
No? Okay. Did you think they all did a pretty good job?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. All right. And do you think that kids should watch The Shift? It's not really made for kids, but do you think... Yeah, you don't think it'd be too scary for them?
No, unless they were like 3 and they've just been scared of Satan for a long time.
Sure. If that's their personal boogeyman, it may not be the best idea. That's fair. That is fair. And finally, last question, and then we'll let you go. Final questions for Violet. I'm not seeing any come in right now. Now that we know what the names of the dogs are, I don't know what anybody could possibly ask you, except for this question. How sick are you of hearing about The Shift?
I'm really sick because I kind of just want to see where it goes.
All right, that's a good answer. She's not really sick of it. She just wants to see where it goes. Okay. Anything else you want to tell us? Any words of wisdom before you take off?
No, not really.
Not really. Sweetheart, I appreciate you coming. All right, you were free to go. Go have some dinner or something, okay?
Pizza.
Oh, no. Looks like our stream got interrupted, maybe? Is everything okay, moderators? Is everything okay on your end? I want to make sure everything's cool before we keep going. That was my daughter Violet. I did not know how that was going to go. She seemed to do pretty well. She didn't say anything too embarrassing, so that's good. But very grateful to her for visiting us. Maybe we'll see her again. It is cool to see that a kid can enjoy it. And I have heard stories of families watching The Shift together and actually enjoying it and having a good time with it. So surprising, but very cool, and not too dissimilar to what Dad made for kids. And yet we know that kids love the series as well. They should. All right, trying to get some feedback from the. Looks like we're good. Looks like the only trouble is on my end. So we're gonna keep going. Question for me: if the film is a sci-fi take on the Book of Job, will he go through many losses as well? So one could argue that Kevin has already experienced a loss. One of the things that Satan tells him is that his wife, the woman that he married, was either shifted away from him or he shifted away from her a long time ago. The Molly that we actually meet at the beginning of the shift is not the same Molly that he married, technically speaking. So, already he has experienced a great loss. And there are going to be other losses that Kevin does experience. That is fair to say. The other part about looks like we're having some issues tonight. This is probably a prime time for let's see here if I can trying to clear out my browser a little bit to try to speed this thing up. Is that any better? Hopefully it is. Yeah, the moderator just said hopefully nobody in your house is streaming. I hope I hope they're not too. I've told them not to. I'm going to go ahead and remind my wife just one more time. Bear with me here. Up next in just a minute is going to be a director's commentary of the back half of the diner scene. I cannot type different words than I am speaking, so just give me a second here. Anybody streaming? Very choppy. Okay, so apologies if you're having any issues. Hopefully that clears up pretty quick here. Yeah, so that was Violet. She is a fan of the shift. She kind of has to be, but I'm going to take it as genuine. We are in a spot right now with the shift where we are in a transition period. We are trying to get to $93,000 so that we can blow the campaign wide open. We have seen investments come in this week at a much better and quicker rate than we have previously, which is extremely encouraging. The more time it takes us to get to that 93 is the less time we have to get to $1 million, because that $93,000, that minimum goal, is such an important goal because it allows us to unlock possibilities for advertisement. We are very much hoping that we can get there as soon as possible. If you feel like this is an important film and you want to partner with us, we ask you to do it now. And don't wait until the 30th. The 30th, we're going to have hundreds of thousands more people by then, but we can't get to those people without the help we have right now. So if you're watching this, you're one of the few. You're one of the people who are finding out about the shift before anybody else. It may seem like there's a lot of people that know about the shift and that are talking about it, but the reality is it's really not that many people, not compared to what we're going to see eventually. So I hope that if you feel like this is important and this is something that needs to happen, that you'll partner with us. Make that investment tonight. If you have any questions about the investment, if you have any trouble with the investment, we have support staff that is ready to assist you. Just let us know, and we'll be sure and get them to you. Comment here from Robert. Thought this was absolutely fabulous. I truly look forward to what you will do in the long version. Positive it will be quite incredible. Sounds like Robert just recently discovered the shift. Robert, I appreciate that so much. I honestly wish that I could just tell everybody everything about the feature film and everything that it's going to be, because I think that if you knew what I know, you'd be even more excited. But of course, that would spoil it. That would ruin everything. So I appreciate that you, based just on what you've seen so far, that you're excited to see more. That is very cool, and I'm so glad that is how it struck you. Karen says, I'm having problems with the video, but the audio is fine. Enjoying the content, though. Violet is a very sharp kid. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the stream. So if you are hanging in there with us because the audio is good, I thank you. I am so sorry that it's not working quite right. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe just in my neighborhood, everybody's using their internet and streaming like crazy at the same time. So hopefully it'll clear up. You guys let me know if it does. Rebecca says, we are the first drops in the bucket. That's exactly right, Rebecca. That's exactly right. You guys are the first ones, and we're so grateful for you. Okay, so we're going to launch into director's commentary. Let's do that. This is the back half of the diner scene. What we're going to do is we're going to watch it together, and at any point that I feel like it's it's necessary or there's something interesting to say, I'm going to go ahead and pause it. And that's probably going to be frequent. So this isn't like a watch party, okay? So if you're watching this with the sense of, oh, I'm going to enjoy the back half of the diner scene again, that's not what this is for. This is so that I can interrupt it and talk about what we're looking at. So very different thing, but here we go.
What would you like me to shift, Kevin? Shift her.
Hi, my name is Brock Heasley, and I'm the writer and director
Something
of The
went wrong.
Shift.
What would you like me?
I'm so sorry. Hold on just 1 second. I just realized that there are some controls that I did not put into place. Once again, the joys of being live. Let's see here. I gotta put some settings on. You try to think of everything, and inevitably it just doesn't always happen. And there we go. And there we go. Okay, let's try this again.
What would you like me to shift, Kevin? Shift her. Sure.
Chronology. What just happened there is known as crossing the line. That's where the camera, the line, to explain what the line is. So anytime you have people talking, especially in a dialogue scene like this, you draw a line. Usually the line is about right through the middle of the people, and you keep the camera on one side of the line. And the reason you do that is because if the camera jumps to the other side of the line and you're cutting in between people, they're going to be relative to the camera in really weird spaces. That's going to make it difficult to tell as you're cutting between them where they are, and you get very disoriented as a viewer. So it's important to not cross the line. Here we're crossing the line intentionally. We're taking the camera and we're moving it to the other side of Kevin, and we're doing that as a signal to the audience that this is a significant moment. Something unusual is happening and you need to pay attention. And you'll notice that for the rest of the scene, we stay on that side of the line. We stay where we've crossed over, and we don't go back to the other side. And that's also just a visual trick. Knowing that we've got this, 10 to 12 minute scene that's happening in the diner, I want to do whatever I can within our limited resources, because again, we only had $500 when we made this, to shake things up visually. So I know that by jumping to the other side of the line, all of a sudden, all of our frames and all of our backgrounds and even the extras are going to be different than what you've been watching previously. And that's going to make it more visually interesting. Many of you probably haven't even noticed that this happens. But on a subconscious level, it keeps you invested and interested in the film, which is why it was very important to find a point at which we could cross the line. But you don't want to just cross the line for the sake of doing it. You want to do it for a reason that is associated with the story. So it is a story-based crossing of the line when a filmmaker is watching it, because they always notice this moment. Something that me and our director of photography, Kyle Chance, developed, and it's one of the things we had to do on our low budget to keep things visually interesting. And just like that, Tina is gone. And I think I talked about this a little bit before, but an old school trick that was just simply telling the actors to freeze and then having Tina jump out and then telling them to keep going. It was really just as simple as that, and it worked out. It worked out well. I had to do a little bit of digital trickery afterwards just to get the frames to match up, so you don't notice that people have kind of shifted their weight a little bit and Travis's hands a little bit in a different position. But I've never had anybody notice any of the trickery going on there. There's another way to do this in which Kevin as Tina's disappearing, so that when you get to the other side of Kevin, Tina is gone. But it was really important to just have the audience see point blank that, she's gone. She disappears. Like literally, it's a supernatural science fiction-y occurrence. She is gone. There's no sleight of hand in the sense of what we're seeing. It's just she was there and now she is gone. And it was important to me that the effect be really simple, because the whole idea of shifting is that it's almost imperceptible. So the only thing that marks her leaving is just a little bit of a sound, a little bit of a sucking sound, like the air is just popped and kind of filled in the space where she was. And that's it. That's all that happens. Let's see. We've got some questions here. Almost POV symbolism, I think, referring to the crossing of the line. Absolutely. The point of view of the camera shifts because Kevin's point of view is about to shift. How he sees Satan, what he sees that's going on is changing, and so the camera changes along with him. Are there other meanings of shift that play into the theme of the short film or the feature film? So I think it's fair to say that the word shift is important, not only just in the sense of the shift that occurs in the short film, and for me, the shift that the title is specifically talking about is the one you've just witnessed, and I think also shift kind of refers to a change within a person, a change that we all sometimes undergo, and certainly Kevin has experienced a massive shift in his thinking and his understanding through the course of the short film, and his thinking and understanding will continue to shift as he experiences the events of the feature film.
Where did she go? Somewhere else? I would have swapped her with another Tina, but you wouldn't have noticed. She's on some world where her parents never met and fell in love, where there is no Tina. Small deviations are usually best, but that's a big shift. Big shifts take people out of the game and into psych wards. Makes me sad.
I love Travis's delivery of that line. Makes me sad. It's such a, it's such a cruel line in a way. Does it really make him sad? It probably doesn't, but he says it anyway. And the way Travis does it is just so understated. Travis, of course, is the actor playing Satan. It's arguable. What makes him sad? Does somebody, living out their life in misery really make Satan sad, or is that what makes him happy? I think that's up for debate.
I didn't mean...
Oh, don't get broken up about it. They got lots of daughters. Or they used to. Maybe it's time to find a new cafe.
That line, I have been in screenings where that line has gotten a laugh. And it's kind of an uncomfortable laugh. It's pretty dark humor when you really think about what he's saying. There's a lot of things that I'm not spelling. As a storyteller, I'm not trying to spell it out to you. I'm trying to get you, and I think this is what's good about, this is how successful stories work, is they get you as a viewer, as a reader, to participate and think and draw conclusions and connections on your own. And so we're trying to explain some very complicated subjects and concepts with just, innuendo and suggestion. So when he's talking about, maybe it's time to find a new cafe, there's a world of story within that. And hopefully you, as you watch it, and I think particularly as you watch it maybe a second or a third time, you start to piece together, the history of what's going on and why the parents are upset and why everybody in the diner is scared. And these pieces start to fall together. At least that's certainly the intention.
What do you want from me?
Oh, Kevin, you're special. You don't even know. And I can't do this all by myself. It's a big job. A big job. On every world, I set up my power players, and they do my work.
What kind of work is that?
You know. Lie, cheat, steal, murder.
I've never hurt anybody my whole life.
No, but you have such potential. You're a halfway decent guy. It's the other half I'm particularly fond of, and it takes over in the end.
Okay, so there's not too often that you write a line and you think, at least as a writer, just me personally, not too often that I write a line and I think, oh, that's a really good line. I will say that when I wrote that line, you're a halfway decent guy, it's the other half that I'm particularly fond of. When I wrote that line, I was a little proud of myself, I'll admit. I like that line. I think it says a lot with a very few words. It's a play on words. It's a turn of phrase. It just works on a lot of different levels. And I think it really sums up what the shift is and what it's talking about. It's talking about the potential within each of us to be evil and to be good. We have that at all times. The two, I've heard that the parable of or not the parable, or whatever the saying is, of the two wolves that are inside of us, and it's which one's going to win? It's the one that you feed. And so, there's a good wolf and a bad wolf within Kevin, and it's the one that he feeds that's eventually going to win. And Satan is telling him point blank, look, it's the bad one that's going to win. That's who you are, dude. That's what you're all about. And I think that's true for every single one of us. Every single one of us can always make a choice to do something horrible. And we do, and that's called sin. And that potential for sin within us is something that we're constantly fighting. At least I hope we're constantly fighting. But sometimes people give up. And Kevin is finding out that usually every other version of him that's out there gives up and gives in to the bad wolf. Someone says, can someone make a GIF of the line crossing moment? That'd be cool. And let's see, our current, just to take a break real quick, our current investment total is $83,746. We were trying to get to 85 tonight. That would require somebody to come in and really do some damage to that gap we have between where we are right now and the 93 we need to get to. We're talking less than $10,000. That's how close we are. We are less than $10,000 away from hitting 93 and getting this out to hundreds of thousands, and I mean literally millions of people. That is what can happen if we get to that amount. And then all of a sudden, we're talking about a really clear road between now and September 30th to get to $1 million. It sounds crazy, but it's totally and completely possible. But not until we hit that 93. Okay. Orlando J. Gomez, my producer, is watching. He says the other half is one of my favorite lines too. And I know that Orlando refers to it often.
No. You don't know.
I do know. You do accept this offer. You're out there, Kevin, doing my work. And you're rewarded for it. You're a captain of industry. You're a leader. You're a Hollywood producer. You're a king. And I can provide all of those things for you, everything you ever wanted. I have 1,000 different versions of you on 1,000 different worlds doing my work. And they aren't hampered by an unfaithful spouse or an idiot supervisor who can't recognize their talents. Swear allegiance to me, Kevin. And I will lift you out of this embarrassing farce you call a life and into something glorious.
Okay, so here's Kevin at the real point of temptation. And this is where I believe the shift really takes a turn into something that's very biblical, specifically biblical. And of course, I'm referring to the temptation of Christ. When Satan came to him after he had fasted for 40 days and had a conversation with him. And this is in Matthew 4:8-11. And I'm just going to read this real fast, and I think you'll see some striking parallels to what we just heard and just to the shift in general. Again, the devil taketh him up to an exceeding high mountain, and sheweth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, All these things I will give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Then saith Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels. The question is, at this point, for Kevin, do I take the deal, get the riches of the world, or do I say, Get thee hence, Satan? And when he takes that drink of the coffee, that is him. It's visually, that's a cue. And that is him saying, I'm really genuinely thinking about this. And it's almost like the coffee is him, is his own mind, is his own thoughts, his imagination, taking a taste of what Satan is offering. That's the kind of detail I would only reveal in a situation like this. I don't want to talk about this stuff too much because I want people to draw their own conclusions. But that is, to me, it's very clearly what's happening here.
You can do that?
Just say the word. It would honestly be my pleasure.
And there's the coffee sip. And Greg swallows, the actor, he swallows. And so you know. There he is. You know he's actually tasted it. But the taste is bitter.
You're the one that made my wife disappear.
Because who gave him the drink?
You're the one that's been screwing everything up.
Don't be unfair, Kevin. You do your part too, and I can keep on doing mine. I can make your life truly, truly miserable. Or I can make you deliriously happy. The choice is yours.
So that's an interesting line that Satan just said, you do your part too. There's a little bit of a blame shifting happening there, but also it's true. We ultimately, we are tempted by Satan. That's very real, and it's happening every day. But ultimately, all the power is ours. We make the choices. He sets us up for a fall, but we decide whether or not to fall. We decide whether or not to sin. And so what he's saying is true in that moment. I do my thing, but you do your part too. And that's true. And that's something that we have to own up to. We cannot, the shift is not to blame shift completely away from ourselves. It's to recognize that there's a force against us and to realize that we should not beat ourselves up so much, but also to realize that we do bear a responsibility for the choices and the actions that we take. And that's Kevin's reminder of it, and hopefully a reminder to everyone.
But that's not who I am. I'm not like that. I wouldn't know how to be like that.
Look at what you've done already today. That poor waitress.
And this right here, this is Satan about to launch into his greatest lie that he can give us. The lie that what we've done is so atrocious that there's really no point in fighting against it anymore. There's no point in fighting against the worst part of ourselves. There's no point in resisting temptation, because look, we've already done so much. Might as well keep going. It's a terrible lie. It's a horrible thing to say, but it's tempting. It appeals to us on a certain level.
I didn't. Poor Tina. That's one life destroyed. Wasn't it easy? Just say the word. You're already on the path. You might as well keep going. Let me give you everything you ever wanted. Just say the word.
I love the music right here by Josh Mendoza and Justin Rosander, friends of mine. They came up with this great theme that I refer to as the temptation theme. And then, of course, Kevin makes his decision. This is the point in which I know a lot of you, and I think it's because it's a brave act. I've talked about this before. To pray is a brave act. It's to go out on a limb and say, I'm not talking to myself. There's somebody listening. And to do that with so much opposition and so many people. And so what Kevin is doing is a very difficult thing. A little bit about how we shot this. So it's really tricky to film actors having cross dialogue. That can go wrong very, very badly. And there's two ways to do it. The first way is the most obvious, which is to just have the actor speaking at the same time and sort it out in the edit later. The other way is the way that we did it, which is that we filmed Greg and Travis, the actors who played Kevin and Satan. We filmed them doing their dialogue separately. So anytime you see the camera on Kevin, like you see it right now, he is speaking the words. Those are actually happening. And anytime you see it on Travis, who's playing Satan, he is also speaking the words. Obviously, it's happening. But when their backs are to the camera, as Travis's is right now in this frame, and he starts, yelling and saying everything he's saying to Kevin, on the day, Travis was saying nothing. He was miming the dialogue that he had to speak, but nothing was actually coming out of his mouth. And that was just so that we could get a clean audio. And the same was true on the opposite side. When we had the camera on Satan, on Travis, Greg, playing Kevin, was not speaking. So, but they were both miming it. And that also allowed them to read the words instead of having to say them off the cuff. So it was kind of a help in that way, especially on a long night like that where, there was so much dialogue. Any chance that they could get to not actually have to, speak from memory and to just read, they would take. And if you watch very closely, and I'm going to play the prayer uninterrupted, and then at the end of it, I will share with you Kevin's prayer. If you haven't heard that yet, I'll share with you the full text of the prayer that you mostly can't hear. You'll notice, you can tell sometimes that they're reading. Especially Travis, as hunched over as he is, he's just reading his dialogue off of the table, telling on him a little bit there. But there was really no other way to do it. And then I believe even Greg, I think the entire time he was reading the prayer, I don't think he ever actually had it memorized. But because of the way his glasses are, when he's leaning over like that, you can't see what his eyes are looking at. It actually looks like his eyes are closed, but I think they were parted just a little bit so that he could read the text of the prayer. So there's a lot of reading happening here, but it's totally invisible to you, the viewer, unless you're really looking for it and you can spot it like I can. Just a real quick, Greg in California just partnered with us for an additional, sounds like Greg is one of our previous investors. He just partnered with us for an additional $254. I appreciate that. Bringing us to an even total of $84,000. We've had some like 46 and had some weird numbers, and now we're back at zeros. It's very much easier to do the math when we're at zeros. $84,000 is our current investment. Thank you, Greg, for partnering with us once again. It means so much, and if that's the Greg that I think it is, I am especially grateful. So we are at $84,000. That puts us $9,000 away from 93. That's how close we are to getting that. And we are, of course, $1,000 away from tonight's goal of $85,000. Is there somebody out there who was just going to go ahead and put $1,000 in there and just get us all the way there to our goal for tonight? I don't know. Maybe it'll be 10 of you with $100. We don't really care. We're grateful for all the partners we get. Looks like we got a question here. May his daughters never ever disappear again. I think that's Greg. If that's the Greg I'm thinking of, I think that's actually our newest investor, our newest repeat investor is Greg Wyke, I believe, unless I've got that wrong. Moderators tell me I don't want to give the wrong person credit. I believe it's Greg Wyke, who, of course, in the short plays Tina's father. We're going to see him here again in just a minute. Let's hear the prayer.
Father in heaven,
Are
it's
you
been way too long
you
since
praying?
last heard from you, but I'm
Really?
Here there is
This
darkness.
is amazing.
and I'm
Please,
too
please,
small.
I love it.
Please.
Do you really think that God will help you after what you've done? You're tainted goods. You're not even worth his effort anymore. And even if he does help you, do you think I will ever leave you alone? Ever? You can't put me off. I am relentless. I am at your heels. I know you.
And if I am
You
worthy
are
to save
nothing.
me, that I may be
Nothing.
worthy tomorrow.
I am
Believe
greater than God.
Jesus
I am
Christ.
certainly greater than
Amen.
And like that, Satan is gone. This was a moment. This moment was everything. I've told this story before. I'll tell it briefly again. We had a table reading before we shot anything. And in the table reading, I surprised all of our actors with Kevin actually praying. That wasn't in the original script. It was on a piece of paper that I slipped to Greg the actor, and he read it at the same time that Travis as Satan was yelling at him in our table read. And so everybody's looking around like, what's going on? And they realized quickly what it was. And the amazing thing that happened, and I get chills, I just got chills. I get it every time I think about this story. The amazing thing that happened is that they synced up. And just as you just saw in the film, on that night, in the table read, they completely synced up. Having never practiced it before, having never done it together before, Greg said amen, Travis shut up. Exact same time. They both ended. And it was a powerful, powerful moment. Lots of tears that night. Nobody expecting it coming. And I knew that my responsibility as a filmmaker was to try to recreate that feeling as best I could in the final edit of the film. And so what you just saw there with the sound design, with the editing, with everything, took a while to get to. There was a whole version where it was mostly just music, and I had to tell our sound design. I'm sorry, it was mostly just sound design, and our sound designer put the music way low, and I told him no, it needs to be up at the same level. And so we did the thing that you don't usually do, which is we put the music all the way up and we put the sound all the way up, so that they're both competing with each other. And the sound design has got rattles and things are shaking, and there's a lot of bass, and there's all kinds of crazy things. And it mixes up with the music to the point where I don't think you can really tell the difference between the two. It becomes this cacophony. And if I can be so bold, it was a little bit inspired by the Beatles. They kind of did a similar trick with A Day in the Life, where they had a lot of instruments, and their song A Day in the Life, last track on Sgt. Pepper, where they had a lot of people in the orchestra playing at the same time, and just kind of all rising together, and they didn't really give them a lot of direction as to when to hit the notes. They just said from here to here, you just need to get there, time it however you want, and it ends up being just noise. It's my favorite Beatles song, and so that was kind of on my mind as I was thinking about this, and how to structure this, and how to get that power that we felt that night at the table read, how to get that power to the viewer, to let them experience that. And so it was the combination of things, the combination of the edit, the actors' performances, the sound design, the music, and just turning it all up to 11 and letting it compete with each other. So that when he says amen, when Kevin says amen, and he invokes the name of Jesus Christ and it falls off a cliff, all the sound falls off a cliff, it's like a gut punch. You feel it. And that's what I wanted. When you watch this in a theater, and I've had the chance to watch this in the theater, it rattles the walls. It's an incredible moment. And of course, all of that aside, the important thing here is calling upon the name of Christ is what provides us relief from the darkness and from the difficult things of this world. If anybody gets anything out of the shift, I hope that's what they get from it. Not how Satan works, but how we can combat him. That the solution is actually really simple. And I think because it's so simple, it becomes that much more powerful. We let the sound design and the cinematography and the cinema of it do all the flexing. Kevin's flex is very small. It's just to say a very quiet prayer that almost nobody can hear. But because he's saying the right prayer, and because he's talking to somebody who's very real, and is very much waiting for us to talk to him, very much standing at the door waiting for us to knock, because that is the reality. The prayer is answered, and it's more powerful than all the noise, and it's more powerful than anything else. The quiet silences the noise. All right. So what you're seeing right here is actually a reshoot. This is the only thing we went back and reshot. And that's because when I played the film for some friends, originally what happened was Kevin kind of just tossed the money on the counter, and he said, "I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm so sorry for your loss." And he walked out the door. And I showed it to some friends, and they laughed. They laughed in this moment, and I was crushed. And my friends felt so bad. But then I quickly thanked them. I said, "No, thank you. Like, the worst thing would be is to put this in front of a lot of people and then have them laugh in this moment." And so then it became an investigation of, okay, well, why are you guys laughing? Like, what is funny about this? And they said, well, it's just ridiculous. Like, he's the one who caused them to go away, Tina to go away, and he's saying, "I'm sorry for your loss," and just tossing money at them. Like, "I'm sorry for your loss." Like, that helps anything. Like he's the one that did it. He shouldn't be saying that. And I realized that they were right. And so I thought, okay, what can we do? So we went back into the diner, middle of the afternoon, did all the lighting to make it look like it was nighttime. And we just shot Greg, our actor, got him back in wardrobe, got some, bruising on his knuckles and stuff, and just had him put the money down on the counter in a different way, trying to like communicate through his hands a more somber mood. If that makes any sense. And so that hesitation, the way that he puts it down there, that was all Greg, and he figured out how to communicate that regret and that hesitancy using just his hands. And then in the audio, I just changed it. Now he just says, "I'm so sorry." He doesn't say, "I'm so sorry for your loss." And then all of a sudden it had the gravity that we were going for, and it didn't seem so cavalier or disrespectful. And it certainly didn't seem funny anymore. So we've never gotten a laugh since then. But thank goodness for my friends giving it to me straight and just laughing at my stupidness.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. You guys have seen the rest. So after that is all the credits and stuff, and you guys saw that the other night. So that's the shift. And that walk out the door and that slow door close, that was one of those decisions that was made in the moment. That was one of those times where I think it was literally 5 a.m, and we'd all been there since 3 p.m. the previous day. And we're filming that shot of Kevin walking out the door, and I'm not calling cut. And so there's poor Mark there, Mark McPherson. He's the actor sitting there next to the door, and also the name of the character. And he's just staring at the door, and I'm not saying anything. I didn't want to ruin the moment. And we're just watching the door close. And there was in the moment, I just knew, like, we've got to see that door close all the way and just hold on it. And because a lot of what you're trying to do as a storyteller is you're trying to get people to anticipate, what's going to happen next. And even though I knew nothing was going to happen next, I wanted people to hang on. And I wanted to be respectful of whatever thoughts you have. I have a lot of people tell me that they can't stop thinking about the shift, that it ends and then they're just quiet. And I've heard this from people watching it with their families. They just settle in and they just think about it. And nobody says anything. And I just had a feeling like that was going to be the experience. And so I wanted to just hold on that door for as long as felt comfortably possible before cutting to black. And I think we hit the sweet spot of when it cuts to black. I feel like it cuts to black at the right moment, and you feel like, okay, it's over. But of course, it's not over. Kevin walks out the door, and he goes somewhere, and he does something. He does a lot of things, and I know what he does, and I can't tell you, but I want to show you. And that's what we're doing here tonight. We are trying to drum up some investments so that we can finish this story. We are at $84,000 in investment. If I can just check on over at the portal real quick, we'll show you here. Let's refresh and see where we're at. We are at $84,000 even with 232 investors. That's a great spot to be in. It's not quite the spot of comfort that we want. And look, just because we don't hit it tonight, and it certainly doesn't look like we're going to, $1,000 investment and we'd get right there. Is there anybody right now maybe that's in the pipeline and that is about to do it? Let us know and we'll hang on a bit. But it's so important for us to get to that 93. If we can get to 85 tonight, then we're going to be just $8,000 away from hitting that 93, and then everybody in the world is going to see the shift, and we're going to get to that million by the September 30th. That's what it's all about. Got a note from one of our moderators. She says, just my own note, the music alone at the end brought me to tears. When I listen to that music at the end, I feel much the same way. I'm really grateful for what a powerful soundtrack Josh and Justin were able to give us. Okay, is especially is kind of like you need to get off now. You're done. I think we've all heard enough from me. I think the next few days are going to be really exciting. I think that we're going to see that number go up. I think that we are not that far from being able to launch this campaign of the stratosphere. I am wrapping up right now, I promise. Let's see. Oh, it's impressive. I'm assuming they're talking about my comments earlier about listening to my friends and their laughter. Better and better at is taking that criticism and figuring out, what's the truth of it and what can I do. So thank you for that. Next week, I do believe that by Tuesday, by our next live stream, we are going to be looking at a completely different landscape. I very much believe that by then we are going to be looking at having reached our minimum, and we're going to be getting this out to so many more people. But on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Mountain, 3 p.m. Central, I can do math, 4 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be having a very, very special live stream, a live stream completely unlike any we've ever had before. It's going to be live stream 9 with Against the Tide Media. They're going to be co-hosting it with us. It'll also be on their YouTube page along with ours and Facebook. And we're going to have some very special guests. This is a live stream that I did not come up with, nor did our team at VidAngel come up with. This was a live stream that has been created by fans who came to me and said, hey, we would love to do a fan live stream where we talk about why we are so passionate about the shift and how we are witnessing God's unfolding and how we have been brought into it and how us being brought into it has ended up in you being able to have people on your team that you never imagined you'd get. And I'm talking about, of course, people like Dan Hasseltine and Matt Nelson, who will also be joining us for our stream on Tuesday. So this is going to be a big one. This is going to be a Zoom room type of broadcast. We're going to have Dan Hasseltine and Matt Nelson, the composers of The Chosen, the composers of The Shift. They're going to be joining us. They're going to tell us their story about why they're on The Shift and how they came into it. We're going to be hearing from fans, very, very dedicated fans who I believe some of you are going to know and recognize, talking about why they are so passionate about the shift. It's going to chance for me to shut up a little bit. I will be in the mix. I'll tell you a little bit about my story, but I'm really looking forward to just being quiet and listening to them and having them do some of the heavy lifting for me. That sounds like a really nice change of pace. And I'm sure you all would enjoy that as well. So that's going to be 1 p.m. Pacific this coming Tuesday. Let's see. I just got a note from the moderator. He wants me to remind you of investor perks. If you do invest with us in the next few days, I encourage you to check out our perks. There is an opportunity to be an extra in the film. There's an opportunity to come to set and have have a meal with me. There's even an opportunity to be an associate producer or to be an executive producer right alongside Dallas Jenkins. At a certain level, you can be listed as an executive producer of the shift. There's an opportunity to get the script. Would you like to read the script before the movie comes out? That can happen at a certain level. So there are perks. Besides that, of course, you get a 120% return on your investment, which is pretty dang good. Your first money in, you'll be first money out. The team, myself, we make zero money until you make your money back plus 20%. That's the deal, if the film makes money at all, which we believe it will, or we wouldn't be doing this. But just know every investment is a risk. The moderator keeps talking to me. I keep trying to end. And of course, existing investors can add to their investment, their current investment. If you were like, man, I didn't get to that level, that's okay. Go back in, see what perk you want, add to your investment, get to that perk, and then you're good to go. It's really, really easy to do. You just got to log back in, and I believe that the link to that is inside of the comments. So be sure and check it out there. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you. I love doing these. It's fun. It's exhausting, and my mouth is dry, but I love doing it, and I love connecting with you. I look forward to seeing you again on Tuesday. Follow the page, like the page, and we'll keep you up to date on the investment. I think the next 3 days are going to be really exciting, and I can't wait to share them with you. And, oh, totally forgot to share this. This is the graphic to look out for. This is what Livestream 9 looks like with our special guests, Dan Hasseltine and Matt Nelson. Fan stories, live Q&A, and more, all happening Tuesday, 1 p.m. Pacific. We will see you then.